When the Spaniards arrived in the New World, there were many myths and legends that are still considered true even today. However, out of all of them, one in particular stands out, not only for what it describes, but for how atypical it is to find real testimonies about giants. Is it possible that the indigenous people of South America could offer another vision of these unreal beings? The remains of the main native tribe seem to prove rather the contrary, but some findings have captivated scientists as they create a very different version of everything we know so far. The South American jungle could be the home of giants, and if you keep watching, you too will discover the indecipherable mystery hidden in this place that no one had chosen before for looking for impossible answers. When the conquerors arrived in America, they felt they had arrived in a world taken from the imagination of a lunatic. For them, the plants, the animals, the mountains, and even the people seemed to be beings from another planet. Nothing made sense, not even the natural proportions of the things they knew, and that invariably resulted in thousands of logs and wild stories that we can understand today without the exaggerations of such a huge discovery. However, out of all of these inflated anecdotes, there is one that seems to be real, or at least real enough to interest some researchers. And the fact is that all these stories have the same meeting point, an area of the map from where the possible giants emerged. It is, of course, the jungle of Peru, a vast and agonizing territory that explorers feared for decades, and to which several groups of researchers have returned to unravel the mysteries hidden in its terrain. However, locating evidence of these strange giants is no easy task. Some of the most important accounts of this subject date back to a very particular description found in an exploration journal. It details the presence of a band of humpbacked giants over 2 meters tall, with monstrous feet, reddish hair, and olive skins in the jungles of northern Peru. Some scientists believe they were Stone Age aborigines who lived exclusively in the province of San Juan, one of the largest rainforests and the largest forested foothills east of the Andes. Today, this place has 200,000 inhabitants, and although they have no telephone services, paved roads, or modern infrastructure, it is precisely here where the genes of the ancient giants can be traced back. Carlos Terrilza, an anthropologist specializing in the tribes of the Incas and Mayas, discovered a series of ruins belonging to a lost indigenous city in the surroundings of this area. The roots of this small civilization are still unknown, but in several of the tombs, a group of 15 aborigines armed with thick wooden sticks and stone axes, reddish hair, and a gigantic size were discovered. For his part, the director of the Regional Center of Indigenous Remains, Cristobal Crestapana, seems skeptical, since the remains and the descriptions of these supposed giants do not coincide with any of the racial features of the people seen in the Andean region. However, this is not the first time that archaeological remains of giants have been discovered. In fact, a series of treasure-rich tombs of a Peruvian culture extinct more than 1,500 years ago were discovered in 1997. When unearthed, 5 young men of unusual height were found. They were practically giants, with huge bones surrounded by textiles, ceramics, llama skeletons, and decorative metalwork. Soon after, it was discovered that they belonged to the Manchi tribe, a culture that thrived in the desert coast of northern Peru between 100 and 800 AD. Their origins and traditions remain unknown, but pyramids, palaces, and temples have been found to prove their existence and enormous capabilities. However, when it comes to giants in Peru, no find has been as revealing as the story of the Santa Elena coast. It is believed that in the vicinity of the town of Puerto Viejo, the natives made contact with people they had never seen before. Far from being the colonizers, it would be some other culture that was transported in cane rafts which were as big as boats, and that disembarked on the coast to the terror of the natives. According to the legend, the men were enormous, twice the size of any of the natives. They had huge eyes, were hairless and white-skinned. Their arrival led to the construction of a village with its own houses, water wells, and even temples. For the natives, this was unimaginable. But the most amazing thing was to see the foreigners' ability to carry heavy materials and erect buildings worthy of giants. Thanks to the masterful strength of these individuals, they managed to open trails to the river, cut down trees, and create a small city in a short time. However, after several months, the giants began to run out of provisions, and once hunger took over their most primitive instincts, death came. According to oral accounts passed down from generation to generation, each of these enormous invaders was capable of devouring 50 indigenous people per day. They fed on them with terrifying ease, and any attempt of defending themselves was completely useless. The population of the area was dwindling every day without anyone being able to prevent it. But everything got worse when the giants decided to kidnap the women. Their sexual appetites were monstrous and ended in death most of the time. However, a large number of the women became pregnant, and all those who did not die in childbirth gave birth to deformed children. From this point on, the stories vary. No one knows for sure what happened to these giants. Some consider that they changed places and went into the depths of the jungle. Others believe that a divine fire wiped them out when they were in their homes. And finally, there are those that shuffle the possibility of integration, which would indicate that the natives and the giants ended up being a single town. None of these stories have been proven, but the discovery of corpses throughout the Peruvian jungle continues, and they don't match the characteristics of the local tribes. The tombs of these abnormal skeletons are intermingled with those of ancient civilizations, although no one knows why. Did these giants really exist? And was there a civilization that arrived in America before the Spanish or Portuguese? It is difficult to come to a real conclusion, but one thing is certain. The discoveries won't stop, and perhaps the day will come when some archaeologists discover something that can reveal the truth of this strange mystery once and for all. Although, when it comes to unsolved mysteries, what is happening in the Peruvian jungle is nothing compared to the enigmas hidden throughout the world. There is nothing more disturbing to investigators than unexplained cases. And if you check out the following videos, you will discover the secrets that have never been revealed to you.